Hello, namaste everyone. I hope you guys are doing great. So this video is going to be for Capricorn, moon sign and ascendant sign. So as to how Saturn's transit in the sign of Pisces is going to affect you. So Saturn is going to transit on 29th of March 2025 and it is going to be in the sign of Pisces till February 2028. It is going to go back and forth because of retrogression in 2027. That's why its time period, its transit has been extended till 2028. Okay, so let's get into the predictions. But before that, if you guys are new to my channel, please subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so as to get regular updates. And before that, also, you can first go and look into the video of Saturn's powerful transit in the sign of Pisces, so as to know as the foundation prediction for this transit, that how Saturn behaves in the sign of Pisces, and also with the significance of the 12th house. Right. And then it also will discuss about how it is going to move over planets and affect the planets altogether. So after that, you can come back to this particular video and can understand your predictions for this transit, right? So let's get started. So for Capricorns, this transit is going to happen in the third house. Third house is the house of one's communication. It's the house of one's intellect, thinking process as well, because this house shows what is your understanding towards a communication. It's not just the house of communication, it's also your understanding towards a communication. Like, for example, if suppose a person has Ketu in the third house or they have Ketu connected with the third house, these people are going to be very rift with their understanding. What they do is that you just communicate a section of the whole thing to them, and they are going to assume and start, saying one thing or the other. And similar thing happens with Mars in the third house as well, because these people wants to then dominate the conversation, and they have a habit with Ketu, they have a habit of cutting the communication or cutting the conversation. If someone suppose has moon in the third house, then this becomes a very assumptuous placement, like a person has a habit of assuming things. This is because third house, it's the original domain ruled by Gemini, right? And this is the house which is eighth from the eighth house. So it's the higher self of the eighth house. That's why it's the deeper self of the eighth house. It's more deep than the eighth house. Moon in the eighth house would have its own capabilities and its own struggle, but Moon in the third house indeed also have a lot of struggles, right? So third house is the house of your courage, your determination, your neighbors. It's the house of your skills. And whether your skills are technical in nature, creative in nature, philosophical in nature, that is all dependent on the third house. Third house is your hands, whatsoever work you do with your hands. So now Saturn is transiting in the third house. What it does is it makes you more patient in life. You gather patience. See what Saturn does. Saturn, when comes into the third house, and especially in the sign of Pisces, this Saturn would now make you do efforts. There is one thing about uh earth signs. See, earth element, since earth is stable, earth is fixed, right? It's not a fixed sign, but earth element is fixed. It wherever the earth is, it is going to stay there, right? So that's why these people have an ability to be lazy towards their actions. You will see that with all the earth signs. They are very lazy when it comes to their actions. And we can also evaluate as that these people evaluate first about the what can the consequences be, good or bad, and then only they take the decision. So that basically delays their action. So that's why when Saturn is coming here, Saturn is going to take these people out of their, wonderland, out of their fantasy land. Saturn is going to make you struggle. Saturn is going to make you work hard. But trust me on this, the more hard work you're going to put in, the more results you're going to get. Saturn is going to develop your understanding. Saturn is going to give you patience. Suppose within Earth element, you have a fire element attached. As in, if your ascendant is Capricorn, you might have your moon in some fire sign. If your moon is Capricorn, your ascendant if is a fire sign. So this Saturn is going to hold that fire. This Saturn is going to develop your understanding in a very realistic manner. So first of all, it will require you to be patient. It will test your courage. It will give you instances where your courage is going to be tested, your actions are going to be tested. Right? The Saturn in the third house also restricts one's communication and enhances one's skills because first it is going to give you dissatisfaction regarding your skills. You'll be like, there is something missing within my skills. Since you are a Capricorn, you already have a habit of self-criticizing. You always, it's not the other people that criticize you, it's you yourself. And that actually works as a self-motivation. So, this self-critical behavior of yours will help you develop good set of skills for you, and you are going to get first dissatisfied with your skills, and then you are going to find ways to develop them, use them into your career. And trust me, your career would involve a lot of communication, connecting with social media, multimedia, and technology within your career is going to be very necessary this time. So let's dive into the chart so that we can get a better explanation. So, like, for example, you are a Capricorn rising, right? So that means Saturn is coming into the third house. Now, Saturn, wherever it goes, it sets boundaries within that house. So, this house, since sign of Pisces is the sign of expansion because of the trait of Jupiter. It's the sign of expansion, expanding one's subconscious horizon. Now, Saturn coming here is going to restrict that horizon. It is going to make you focused with your work, with your job, with your skills. It is going to make you determined. It is going to make you goal oriented. And it is going to restrict your communication. So even if suppose you would, someone is picking fight on you, and earlier you were an individual who would have reacted to this fight. Now you will be like, I don't care. Whatever you want to say, go ahead, say it. It's your karma. You deal with it. I don't care. Right? So that's what this is going to do for you. Now, if you have Saturn third from your moon, suppose you are a moon Capricorn, then all of this is going to happen in respect of your emotional state. You have to make efforts towards connecting with others emotionally. Again, the emotional courage is going to be tested for you. So Saturn being in the third house is going to first of all suppress the instability in your life. And trust me, whatsoever hard work you do, whatsoever goal you are determined and focused on during this time period, you are going to achieve that. For example, if you are targeting towards a particular profession, you'll be able to, suppose you are targeting towards starting a new startup, you'll be able to achieve that. If you are, suppose, focusing and targeting on getting a new job, you're going to achieve it. A new house, you are going to achieve it. So whatsoever, that's why the third house placement, see, third house Saturn does make a person struggle a lot. Trust me on that, it makes a person struggle a lot. But these are the individuals who get the fruit of their hard work. They get the fruit of their hard work, definitely. That comes in with delay, but it definitely comes in. Now, since this is a transit and it is coming just for 2.5 years, it is going to fulfill that karma for you in 2.5 years. Right? Now, its third aspect goes into the fifth house. Now, it means that efforts and actions are to be made towards children. And also, I told you, since third house is your understanding, your ability to understand. That's why its third aspect on the fifth house will affect your mind, your decisions, and also your understandings, because the third house is about that. That is the reason why Leos are super, like, I wouldn't say super, but very intelligent, very sharp people. And they get things very quickly. That's the power of Leo. That's why fifth house is considered as the house of education, because that's your, it's higher self of understanding. It's third from the third house. It also means that you will have to make efforts towards your romantic life. And you may also feel some sort of delay and obstacle within, firstly, travel, and secondly, your romantic encounters, your romance. Right? This will also show that this is not the best time for you to go for speculation. See, notice one thing in everyone's chart. If you know the chart of a person who has won lottery somehow, sometime, or who just gets money, like, lottery or from someone else very easily, or who doesn't have to work hard but gets money, you will see that their fifth house is strong, but Saturn is placed in that way where it is not showing much of a struggle to a person. It's actually either way it works. It will either give you a strong and it's naturally there. If you have a strong fifth house, you will have Saturn placed in any of the places where the hard work is not there. And if your Saturn is placed in any of the houses where you have to do a lot of hard work, your fifth house is going to be definitely afflicted or in a bad position, because these houses are very correlated in terms of predictions. Okay, so that's why you will have to put up your efforts towards the fifth house matters. Also, for the people who are studying, if you are a student, this would give you the hardest time for your studies, but the more hard work you put in, the more good marks you're going to get. If you are going for a competitive exam, it can give you mixed results for the first go, maybe, but over the period of time, it will give you the result. Now, it of course depends upon your natal placements more. How your Jupiter is placed, how your sixth house is placed, what Mahadasha, Antardasha, and more than Maha Antardasha, it will be Pratantar and Suksham Dasha, which you'll have to see for a competitive exam. And then, most importantly, Prashna. I would tell you something. In my I've been working in astrology since although offline I was working in 2019, but online I started working in 2020. So in 5 years of my experience, I have done so many predictions for competitive exams because most of the clientage that I have are either students or are very young people or middle-aged people. So I have seen a lot of people getting into, just a second. My headphones went off. Okay, so I had to change my mic. I hope my voice is as clear as it was. Okay, so I have done predictions for so many competitive exams, and it has been Prashna who has shown me the most accurate results, even more than the natal chart. So Prashna works beautifully and magically when it's about competitive exams for an individual. Okay, so now the next is the aspect, the seventh aspect. So the seventh aspect goes into the, see, here we are going to have Taurus. And you know what? This can even make you fight for your choice. Maybe you are in love with someone, you have to get married to that particular person, and you will have to fight with your family, maybe because this is the sign of Taurus in the fifth house, or you will have to fight with your lover for some reason. This is that kind of a situation, or you can fight with your lover because of the family. This is that kind of a situation that it creates. Now, the seventh aspect goes into the ninth house where there is Virgo. So, seventh aspect of Saturn is also always very supportive, but but most of the times, the seventh aspect of Saturn is the most neglected as well, or a person always struggles between the Saturn's placement and its seventh aspect, because when Saturn, wherever it is, you are fulfilling the karma over that house. So somehow you are overutilizing yourself, you are working towards that house so much that you neglect something which is far away from it. So it neglects your spiritual thinking, I would say, since it's Saturn in the third house. Spiritual thinking, ethics, right? But one thing it does is it gives you support from gurus. Although your gurus, your father, your mentors are going to act very critical of you, but still they are going to be supportive of you and helpful of you wherever you want the guidance. Now this can also activate you actually encountering your guru. Okay, because in this year, around October till December, your Jupiter is going to be here. That's why it's a very prominent time for your spiritual growth and your support or being connected with a guru, whether it is in your for your career or it is for your spiritual self, right? So it also shows that for people with Saturn in the third house, they do receive fortune. Their luck rises with this placement. So your luck is going to be on your side, definitely. But at the same time, it would test you again and again with your efforts and with your skills. This also shows you will have to do some philosophical thing or some philosophical learning that can be related to even not philosophy. Yeah, it is philosophical learning also, and it is also financial learning that you'll have to do on in routine basis, routine and repetitive basis within your work or within your just personal self. Okay. Now, the 10th aspect goes here in your 12th house. That means you will have to work hard towards your sleep. And you know what? The seventh aspect on the ninth house also shows that higher knowledge or higher lessons are going to help you in this time period. Higher lessons, as in the life lessons that you have gotten in your life. Because the lessons, all those lessons which you have received when Saturn was transiting your first house and second house, and most prominently the first and the 12th house, I would say rather. When so the lessons you have gotten during that time, now it's the time to use them and put them into play within your actions, and also to use them to counsel or guide other people. Okay, so the 10th aspect on the 12th house means you'll have to work hard towards your sleep and also towards connecting subconsciously. That means so as to meditate, so as to connect with spirituality. This is the time where somehow your spirituality is going to get sacrificed. That's why you would require, whenever there is a course where whenever there is an event where you feel the more you feel that my courage is being tested so much, your escapism or what can help you is spirituality, is the 12th house matters. And even so as to travel, it is going to be a lot of effort for you to travel, and also to receive support from foreign government or foreign lands. This is going to also make you work really hard on your expenses, and that too fierce expenses like impulsive expenses, impulsive buying. This would give you some karma related to impulsive buying, or spending money so as to help someone, help people. So this is the best time for you to do what? Donations. Best time for you to do donations. And do not at all, this is also a remedy, do not invest into shares. A big no for shares. Okay, so that's how the aspects are going to work. Now, if we talk about planets, suppose your sun is there in the third house. So you have a very strong command of communication over everyone, or you generally have a very strong communication skills. And this also turns out to be your eighth lord. So first thing is there, you'll have to work hard towards achieving either your inheritance or some hidden money or money from your fixed asset. You will have the hardest time to receive that. And for that, there can be some sort of sacrifice, some sort of compromise that has to be made. Or it can simply be a kind of a warlike situation or fight with it. But this also means that you can get judged for your actions. You can get judged for the way your communication is, for your rift communication, for your strong and authoritative communication. So your ego is going to be crunched because of that. So prefer not putting up a fight for in with anyone, and especially with your neighbors. This can be a very a kind of a legal issue or matter with the neighbor. Okay, so you'll have to deal with that sort of thing. Right now, third house sun also is a sun which does extremely well when it is about communicating the secrets, communicating, because it's originally the eighth lord for Capricorn ascendants. Then it means that the eighth lord is coming to the third house. You are either you have some skill which is related to digging deep and transforming something. You have a skill to transform, suppose, a data into an application, right? Or you have a skill so as to dig deep and find the information, research on the information, and give out the result. So this is going to be required for you to do within your career. Or if you're trying to plan your career, if you're going to trying to choose your career, you can choose something associated with transformation, or associated with manufacturing, or associated with skill development. Okay, suppose if there is moon, so that means moon is the seventh lord coming into the third house. So this means it will first of all suppress your mood swings, your it would suppress your conflicts within the marriage as well, the instability within the marriage as well. Okay, and it could even give you marriage. Probably towards the end of this year or by the next year. But the initiation of the process or an engagement can happen this year between October till December. Right? But before that, it's a time where you are like totally indulged into work, 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 your productivity. And then suddenly you get an opportunity of marriage. So this is actually the peak phase of your Sadhisati. This Sadhisati or this Saturn is going to give you the reality check. First, it is going to give you the reality check with the others, with the, people. But it will also give you the reality check with your thought process, because this moon is quite fragile. This moon is quite assumptuous and quite wobbly in nature as well. So this Saturn will actually suppress the wobbliness of moon. So it will give a focus, it will give determination to that moon. So it will clear all the confusions for you, first of all. With Saturn coming over Sun, it is going to suppress the confusion with your personality. With Moon, it is going to suppress with your emotions. Okay, but it can activate a partnership business also, a contractual business also, and it can also activate marriage. But at the same time, it will balance your moon, make you work hard. You are going to become workaholic during this time, right? Now, if suppose it is Mars. So Mars would be the lord of the fourth house and the 11th house. So this Saturn is going to first build pressure over your mother, over the mind of your mother. It's the testing time for you, but it's also the testing time for your mother. There can be some conflicts with the relatives or neighbors. And you know what? I always talk about that. And even in all the videos you must have seen, whenever I talk about Saturn coming over Mars, I say it's, Kalesh, which is going to come in. It is going to be either Kalesh, it is going to be a war-like situation that is going to come in front of you, and your patience, your courage, everything is going to be tested. But this is going to transform your confusing actions. Previously, you do find lack of actions, lack of appropriate actions, I would say, because in Pisces, Mars gets confused. Sometimes you do take actions on the matters you shouldn't have, and sometimes you do not take actions on the matters that you should have. So that's why the Saturn will actually transform your energy. It will transform the way you act. It will also make you very lethargic. at the same time because it is coming over Mars. Now it is looking, it is like sitting over Mars. It is suppressing Mars now. It is suppressing the unrequired energy in the third house. So it will suppress your domination with your communication. It will make you listen, be patient with your communication, right? So Mars being the lord of the 11th house and the fourth house, you will develop a very restricted environment regarding your social circle. It will become very hard for you to give them time or be connected with them. So there's kind of a restriction, but you will be connecting with a lot of people for work. And it is the time for recognition as well. Okay, but take care of your mother's health specifically. Now, if suppose we have Jupiter, suppose you have Jupiter in the third house, it becomes the lord of the 12th and the third house. This can actually make you buy a property overseas. It can even make you settle overseas if you are expecting your PR to come in. This is the time when your settlement in overseas will initiate. And it's a very good time to buy a property away from your homeland. Okay, it also shows that this is the time where you're going to learn something higher about your skills. Like for example, if you are an astrologer, you will have to learn more about astrology. You will have to upgrade yourself. If suppose you have done LLB, you will have to upgrade yourself, right? If you have done BTech, you'll have to upgrade yourself by doing MTech. Or simply, it could even be, since it's the involvement of the 12th Lord, it's not exactly about education, but it's about knowledge. So you can also, uplift your skills based on the skills you have. Like, for example, you're good with music, you're good with writing. This is going to help you learn something related to that so as to upgrade yourself with it. But it shows you will use your inner talent, your inbuilt talent, so as to make something out of it, so as to make living out of it through social media. Although Saturn restricts the house, when Saturn comes into the third house, it restricts your presence in the social media. But at the same time, it wants you to work through social media. So it's like till the time you're working, you're present on social media. Otherwise, you are just like, my phone will go there. I don't care. I need some space. Right? So with this Jupiter, see, having Saturn in the third house, transiting in the third house, and having Jupiter in the third house, it will give a sense of responsibility to your mother also. Something is going to happen in her life where her responsibility is going to increase also. So this is for all the people having Saturn transit in the third house. This can be very stressful for your mother. Okay. So now if suppose we have Venus here, Venus is exalted. That means you are a very creative individual, very feminine, creative. Now, the Lord of the fifth house and the Lord of the 10th house comes here. This is going to impact your career and your creative career. Definitely, even if you have been a person who is doing 9 to 5 job, but in suppose in IT sector, you are going to start something of your own, which is your creative idea, and you're going to just start that startup. This is a very good time for you to do that. This is good for money. This is good for leisure travels. This is the fifth lord. It can even initiate romance for you, but that romance is going to be on a very practical end. Like you'll be very dedicated and committed to the fact that I am indulging into romance only for the sake of marriage. I don't want to fool around. I don't want casual dating. I want marriage. That's what you'll be desiring here. Okay, so Venus in the third house makes a person very self-conscious of their physique. So, what will happen for the initial time? You would not just care about your physique, about how you look, about how your physique is. You'll be oblivion about it. But then down the lane, you'll start developing interest into, or you'll be forced by the circumstances or maybe your work so as to represent yourself in front of people. So you'll have to manage yourself, you'll have to manage your appearance, you'll start working on your appearance. At the same time, it will also suppress the confusions related to your career. It will give you good and very realistic ideas for your career and within your career as well. But definitely it's a lot of effort that you'll have to make if you have to connect romantically with anyone, or if you have to get married, or with your partner. Okay, now there is Mercury. When Mercury comes in the third house, it is debilitated for you people, right? It is the lord of the sixth house, and it is the lord of the ninth house. This first of all means that you do not know how to manage your conflicts. You do not know where what to speak. You speak a lot, but you do not know where to speak. You do not know where what not to speak. And there's a lot of you have lots and lots of knowledge. So much information you have. But Mercury being in the third house, in the sign of Pisces, and then Saturn coming over it. First of all, it will indulge you into technical understanding of your creative self expression. For example, you had excellent skills of framing a story, framing a maybe novel. Now, when Saturn will come over your Mercury, it is going to enhance your creative skills. But if you are, although having a debilitated Mercury, you are not going to be in a money related career, finances related career, wherever there are involved numbers, not so as to present or so as to calculate all the time. It's not mathematics, but you will do very well where it is about learning the learning the slightest things involved or the detailings. So this Saturn will help you do that work using technology, using technical skills. Definitely the Saturn is going to enhance your skills related to your career. Like for example, you right now do not have any career, you have not started with your career, or you are doing a job but you want to start something on the side for you, for yourself. This transit is going to motivate you to do that. This is transit first of all will make you learn about that particular skill, practice that skill thoroughly, and then indulge that into your work. It can also give you problems with technology at the same time, but it will suppress your confusions with understanding. Your inability to understand, it is going to, for Mercury debilitated, it is going to be the hardest time. So because Saturn is here to develop your intellect, and for that it is going to suppress your youthful behavior. It just a second. Yeah, it is going to suppress your imaginative world, fantasy land. If suppose you have been a person who jumps to communicate, who jumps to assumptions just in a second, in a fraction of second, this Saturn is going to make you hit the hardest. Okay, now it will also make you apply for visas and travel long distance, but this process will be complicated and with obstacles. Rest, of course, it depends on the natal chart of an individual. Now, if suppose there is Saturn only, right? So if Saturn is in the third house, that's your first lord and your second lord. You are also having a Saturn natal return. It calls for judgments. Judgments for your confusing or conflicted actions. Judgments towards your communications. You will have the ability or the opportunity, rather, I would say, to communicate with a lot of people during this time. And you will see a lot of them judging you for no reason. At the same time, this time is good for your wealth creation. It's actually very good for your wealth creation because the second lord is going in the second house, second from itself. It's Bhavat Bhavam placement. So by your own efforts, by your own skills, you are going to earn. Okay. So it's like a Saturn natal return. So of course, your courage, which Saturn used to test all the time, it will again give a prominent situation where your um patience and courage is tested. Also, this is the house of communication. It will suppress your communication. It will be like you are isolating yourself with communication. You're not speaking properly, as in, you're not expressing properly. You're keeping many things to yourself. This can act as a very transformative uh, transit for your job. Either you want to start a business and you would lead towards starting the business during this time. But this is only applicable if your Mahadasha or if your Antardasha is supportive. If it's not, then it just shows that you may get higher rank or appreciation within your job for your hard work. But you might not be able to change into business, but you will definitely have strong ideas and strong determination towards doing something related to a business. Because having Saturn in the third house, you will be stuck in job for very long years, and only after almost, you would say, either 36, or you can expect after 30, after 48, you'll be able to launch your business or whatsoever you think. But these are the two ages. It can come early as well, dependent upon whatsoever Mahadasha or Antadasha you are running. Okay. So next will be Rahu. And you know what? It can give you some sort of warlike situation within the home also. So it's going to be a struggle or a time where you'll have to put a lot of efforts and you feel very lethargic of doing so because one after another there's something that is happening that is taking your peace away. Okay. Now Rahu. If Rahu is in the third house, this can be good for your marketing skills. This Saturn will help you establish or transform your marketing skills. This Saturn coming over your Rahu in the third house will also make you fearful. It can also develop for that particular 2.5 years, it can develop a kind of fear within you. Right? But it can do really well in your business endeavors and something related to social media, media or internet, online. It can make you do very well in that sector. But this is a kind of a rebel like situation. Such a person wants to do something or make actions towards a pure rebel. Like whatever you are told to do, you will do the opposite. You'll just have that urge from the inside to do the opposite. Right? And be very careful of negative influences. When Saturn transits over Rahu in the third house, it's like a prominent placement of Nazar. Whatever you do, whatever you are going to do not discuss it with anyone. First do, then talk about it. And be very organized and disciplined with your communication, with whatsoever you are saying. Now, lastly, we have Ketu. If Ketu is in the third house and Saturn comes over it, Saturn always provides direction to Ketu. So it is good to have Saturn over Ketu. But it will make you develop research abilities, or it will also make you very, for the 2.5 years, you are going to become very, uh, you'll be stalking people online. You'll become that surveillance. You'll do something related to surveillance, like you just got cameras within your home and you're all the time, looking into the cameras, and you're stalking your family members, or you're stalking people. It's just natural thing that will come in. It also shows it will develop your ability to go towards spirituality. It will lead you towards spirituality. It can even give you some sort of gap with or obstacle within your job. So you might have to change your job. Okay. But this is a transit which is going to test your sacrificial nature. So you'll have to make some sacrifice for a very close person. It will give you karma associated with sharp communication. Try not to post any unnecessary thing online. Where you are not invited, do not be there. This is the time for you to work hard. First research, then work hard towards your endeavors. Only if you work hard, this Saturn will bless this Ketu. Okay, but definitely some technical research will help you elevate your status within the career and will ultimately help you with your career. Okay, this is a time which is very critical with the younger sibling or close friends or the neighbors. So be very careful, try to be patient, try to be calm. Okay, guys. So this was my analysis for Capricorn zodiac signs. I hope this turns out to be helpful for every one of you. If you guys are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, which I have already said. And if you would like to have your personal readings, you can check out the link below, www.anmollastrology.com. Under the reading section and unique reading section, you can book a personal reading for yourself. We'll see you with next video. Bye-bye. Take care.